And we are back with another much needed win for the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings will host the LA Rams this Sunday, 12 o'clock Central Time on Fox. Minnesota Vikings will host the LA Rams, the very, very vicious LA Rams. However, the Rams are just coming off of a loss to the Detroit Lions. So this is why I like football. No, it's not the Rams. It's the Cardinals coming off of a loss. I just said the wrong thing. I slipped my mind. The Lions did actually put up a fight against the LA Rams earlier in this season. The Cardinals in the same division, both 10-4, actually just lost the Detroit Lions. So it was not the LA Rams. I had that wrong for a second. But with that being said, again, tough game. Tough game. LA Rams hosting them at homes. The Rams are 3-point favorites in this matchup. So taking a look at the Minnesota Vikings Wednesday injury report for this week. A lot of injuries here, but really, I believe a lot of them are going to play. This is more light than bad right here. So Mason Cole did not participate during Wednesday's practice with an elbow injury. Absolutely nobody cares. We should not see Mason Cole start another game in the NFL. Kirk Cousins was a limited participant during Wednesday's practice with a rib injury. Expect him to be back. However, he is questionable at this moment. Eric Kendricks was a limited participant with a back injury. I would expect him to play. Great news. Adam Thielen has returned to practice and was a limited participant with an ankle injury. Great news to see Adam Thielen's back at practice and will likely play in this upcoming matchup against the LA Rams, as we will need him against the Rams. Justin Jefferson's going to be working on Jalen Ramsey. That's going to be a very tough matchup, but outside of that, Adam Thielen can hit the Rams where it hurts, right in the red zone, and that's why we need him to play in this game. And he's expected to play right now, and I would expect him to play upcoming. It is an ankle injury, so it could get banged up in practice, though, and maybe we don't see him play. He is questionable as of right now. Fullback CJ Ham, snubbed from the Pro Bowl, best fullback in the league, was a limited participant with a hamstring injury. Ham with a hamstring. Alexander Madison was a limited participant as well. However, it was a non-injury related, missing practice or limited participant. With that being said, though, it's great to see Alexander Madison is back, as he did miss last game due to COVID. He was removed from the COVID reserve list and is back on our team. Kane Wango did a great job stepping in for Dalvin Cook and was the highlight, one of the only highlights on the Vikings win against the Chicago Bears. Was Kane Wango, and it's good to see that we have him still on our roster as a running back 3, and Alexander Madison has returned. Now, taking a look at some notable Rams injuries, a lot of names on this list, a lot of core starters on their team. However, they are all expected to play. Those 4 core starters are Jordan Fuller, one of the best strong safeties in the NFL, is still on the COVID reserve list, but will likely be removed, and will likely be activated for this game. I would expect to see him come back. Same goes for Tyler Higbee, the starting tight end, still on the COVID reserve list, is questionable to play. If he does come back, if he is activated, he is one threat on their offense, one of their many threats on their offense that can really expose our defense. Greg Gaines, one of their starting defensive linemen, starts at defensive end or starts at a defensive tackle, really wherever they want him to play. Greg Gaines' ankle injury was a limited participant. Same goes for Ashawn Robinson, another one of their starting defensive linemen, was a limited participant with a bicep injury. Now, you don't see very many bicep injuries. That's pretty interesting. But with all that being said, even if all 4 of those starters don't play, I would expect that the Rams destroy us in this game. And I hate to be the realistic Vikings fan here. I can't be optimistic in every episode for this Vikings. I believe I'm more of an optimistic guy, and I like to hype my team up. I believe my team can win this game. If I'm going to be honest, though, what I've seen from this Vikings defense so far this season, I have very low expectations. And after the Vikings released Bashaud Breeland, while he was the most disappointing Viking on our team, I don't have much faith in Cameron Dantzler. Now, Cameron Dantzler has outperformed Bashaud Breeland by far and earned a starting role over him. Thing is, with that being said, Cameron Dantzler suffers when it comes to tackling and suffers a lot when it comes to disrupting his receivers' routes. Now, he can break up passes. He can cover his receivers well, especially in the red zone. He cannot disrupt their routes. And that's why him going up against Odell is going to be, that's a red flag. That's a red flag on our Vikings defense. Him going against Odell or Mackenzie Alexander going up against Van Jefferson. Like, I have very little faith in our Vikings defense, and not to say that the Vikings can't win this game, but what I'm saying here is that if the Vikings want to win this game, they're going to need things to be on their side. We're going to need to see the same defense we saw against the Chicago Bears. We need to see the defense that can get us turnovers and blitz and get to the passer. Vikings had multiple turnovers on Monday Night Football games against the Chicago Bears, which, by the way, fun fact, that Chicago Bears and Minnesota Vikings game was the most viewed Monday Night Football game in the last decade. That's shocking because that was not a very good game, and I was surprised that it was the most viewed game. But with that being said, the Vikings won that game off of special teams and defense. If the Vikings want to beat the Rams, they have to bring that same special teams and defense from last week and bring the offense we had against the Green Bay Packers. If the Vikings play to their full potential, Vikings can make a playoff run. Vikings can make it two wins in the playoffs. We might see that even happen with this Vikings team because any given week is a flip of a coin at this point in the season where every game has come down to the wire other than the Seattle Seahawks game. Every game has been decided by 8 points or less, which is one score. With that being said, if the Vikings do want to win this game, like I said, we need to see the same defense. We need to see a defense that can turn the ball over, and we need to see a special team that can give the offense great field position. But that's not the only way the Vikings can win. You put that aside, the Vikings can win off of simply outscoring the Rams. Like I said, I have little faith in my Vikings defense. I believe my Vikings defense is going to allow at least 30 points in this game to their opposing offense. Matthew Stafford has played our defense many times and is playing with full confidence so far this season. He's going to pass all over us, and in all honesty, they don't have the best run game. Sony Michel and Darrell Henderson will likely run all over us as well. So with that being said, that Rams offense with a solid O-line as well, but it's great to see Matthew Stafford finally playing with a good O-line. But with that being said, that aside, that Rams offense is going to own us, and it is just going to happen because the Vikings can scheme up all they want. They can scheme up all they want. They can blitz Matthew Stafford all game, which that's a core key on. If the Vikings win this game, they will have to blitz Matthew Stafford with Anthony Barr, with Xavier Woods, with Harrison Smith, safety blitz, linebacker blitz, cornerback blitz. I don't care. Vikings will have to get to the passer with the blitz game because their defensive front is not going to do so. Vikings' only way to rush the passer is off of blitzing. 7th in total yards, they're 5th in points per game, and 8th in third down conversion. So, like I said, their passing offense is outstanding. Matthew Stafford was snubbed from the Pro Bowl. Cooper Kupp is leading the league in receiving yards right now. Outside of that, they just added Odell, and Van Jefferson is stepping in for Robert Woods. So Robert Woods going down has not affected their team at all, as everybody else in their wide receiver room is looking great. And Matthew Stafford is playing behind a very solid offensive line, an offensive line that the Vikings will not be able to rush Matthew Stafford in the game like they did against the Chicago Bears last week. So, with that being said, though, the Rams, the only stat that the Vikings have the Rams beat on is in the running game. Vikings have a much better running game than the Rams, and that doesn't even matter. I mean, who cares? Because if the Vikings want to win this game, they can't win it through the run. It's just not going to happen. And the Rams are a solid team against the run as well. It's not like they're the Pittsburgh Steelers like we played. It's not like they're Detroit Lions or Seattle Seahawks like we played, where the Vikings ran all over them. The only stat that the Vikings are better than is in the run game, and that's not going to help us at all in this game, as we're going to have to outscore Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, and that offense. If the Vikings want to outscore the Rams, they're going to have to put at least 30 points on the board. 30 points on the board. If the Vikings want to do that, they have to be an aggressive offense. That means revolve around the pass. That means somebody got to knock Clint Kubiak on the head and tell him, hey, by the way, you have Justin Jefferson on your roster. By the way, on third down, you shouldn't be targeting Amir Smith-Marset. On third down, 3rd and 4, the Vikings targeted Amir Smith-Marset, by the way, last week. We didn't even mention that, how stupid of a play call that was. First reception in the NFL. They expect to be on the most crucial point in the game. But with that being said, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne, Tyler Conklin, even on third down, I'm not fine with you targeting Tyler Conklin as long as you're not throwing short of the sticks. That's all I care about. Don't do a 2-yard pass to Conklin on 3rd and long. But with that being said, the Minnesota Vikings, we have so many playmakers on offense in the pass game, and we have to revolve around the pass game if the Vikings want to outscore the Rams, because that is simply the best way for the Vikings to win, is outscoring the Rams. We have to be an aggressive offense. And the Rams defense, the Rams defense gets too much credit here, because Aaron Donald, best defensive lineman in the NFL, and the best defensive lineman I've seen in my entire lifetime, by far. I don't think there's even any question about that. Best defensive lineman I've seen in my lifetime, Aaron Donald. Jalen Ramsey, one of the top corners in the NFL on top of that. You take a look, they obviously have Jordan Fuller, Von Miller. So they have a lot of star players on their defense, a lot of Pro Bowlers on their defense and first team All-Pros. But what they also have in their defense is a lot of holes. And that is where you hit them. That is where you hit them where it hurts. Because outside of Jalen Ramsey, Jordan Fuller, you can attack those outside corners. You can attack those outside corners because you have a great receiving core. And that is what the Vikings have to do. Jefferson, minimum 10 targets in this game. Bare minimum 10 targets in this game. Bare minimum 20 yards per target as well. That's what I want to see. Deep shots to Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, get him all the plays as well, because Adam Thielen coming back in this game would be huge, especially in the red zone, because the Vikings were unable to finally get to find the end zone the last few weeks. They had to settle for field goals far too many times, especially 2 weeks ago against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Vikings had to settle for too many field goals. We need Adam Thielen to come here, get the job done as he does. If the Minnesota Vikings can do that, just revolve around the pass, be a very aggressive offense. And I'm not saying don't use Dalvin Cook, because Dalvin Cook's the top 3 running back in the NFL. I'm saying you just have to be a pass-heavy, pass-first team. Why? Because that's what works with the Minnesota Vikings. What has worked with the Minnesota Vikings so far this season has been revolving around the pass game. There's been a few games where the Vikings have ran the ball all game and it's worked. We saw that against the Steelers. The Vikings won that game based off of the run game alone. And the Vikings did that against the Seattle Seahawks as well, and the Vikings won. And against the Lions the first time, Vikings barely won against the Lions. The terrible play calling in that game. I'm talking about the first time we played the Lions, not the second time where we lost on the final play of the game. But with that being said, that aside, the Vikings look best when they revolve around the pass. And that is what you have to do, especially against this Rams defense, who's pretty solid against the run. I believe they're 7th in the NFL against the run. You have to hit them where it hurts on defense, and that is their outside corners outside of Jalen Ramsey. This is going to be a good game. This is going to be a good game. It's going to be fun to watch Justin Jefferson versus Jalen Ramsey. It's going to be fun to watch. No, it's not going to be fun to watch Aaron Donald versus Dalvin Cook. That's going to be brutal. Our offensive line, who's going to start at right guard? I don't want to see it be Oli Udoh or Mason Cole. We need Wyatt Davis back. Wyatt Davis is not injured. I don't know why he's not even activated. He's not even injured. He just hasn't been given any play time so far this season. We drafted him in the 3rd round to be our starting right guard and hasn't played at all this season so far. Rookie right guard Wyatt Davis out of the Ohio State needs to play in this game, whether he's a starter or steps in mid-game, 2nd, 3rd series, I don't care. We want to see Wyatt Davis step into this game because he is the best right guard we have on our roster. I don't want to see Mason Cole or Oli Udoh out there being penalty machines and getting owned. And I mean owned by Aaron Donald, the best 3 tech in the league, the best defensive lineman in the league, is going up against our defense or our offensive line, who has no name garbage right guards. And it has been the story for the Vikings the last decade. The right guards are just continuously awful with this Minnesota Vikings team. And that's brutal, because you don't want to start Wyatt Davis. Wyatt Davis might be the best right guard, but it's just a premature move to start Wyatt Davis at right guard when his first start in the NFL is going up against the best defensive lineman in the NFL. You don't want to start Wyatt Davis. But what I'm saying here is Mason Cole and Oli Udoh are just so bad. You got to do Oli Udoh. He's going to allow a lot of penalties. I'd rather him allow a lot of penalties and get away with a few than Mason Cole getting owned by Aaron Donald, thrown around the field. It sucks to see. Maybe we see Rashad Hill start at right guard. He was a guard in college, so maybe we see no, he was a right guard earlier in his career. He wasn't a right guard in college, but maybe we see him start at guard, because that's the toughest part right there. Is Aaron Donald's going to be all over Kirk Cousins all game long, and we know that to be true because our right guards have allowed no-name 3 techs to be all over our face. So Justin Jefferson on Jalen Ramsey, huge matchup right there. On the other side of the ball, Patrick Peterson against Cooper Kupp. That's another big matchup. Patrick Peterson is not meet his expectations so far this season, but with that being said, he's an old corner. We'll cut him some slack. He's by far the best corner on our roster, and that's why the Vikings should give him another contract. That's going to be another one to look at. And then you also have Cameron Dantzler on Odell Beckham Jr. That is tough. That's just so bad. I mean, I'm sorry, Dantzler. Like, I'm a Dantzler fan. I like him. I like him over Bashaud Breeland. Do I like him as a starting corner? No. Vikings have to look to a new corner, whether that's in free agency or the first round of the NFL draft. Vikings need a new starting corner going into 2022 who can start alongside Patrick Peterson. But with all that being said, if the Vikings want to win this game, they'll have to win off of defense doing what they did last week, turning the ball over and blitzing. Just blitz, blitz, blitz. That's all you have to do, because this defensive line needs your help, and you can turn the ball over. If the Vikings can do that, give their offense good field position, I can see the Vikings coming up with a win. Special teams, we can also see some special teams play. Maybe we see another fake field goal, fake 3rd down, fake punt. I would like to see some of that happen, because Vikings aren't better than the Rams. Vikings are the worst team going into this matchup, and if the Vikings are the worst team, which they are, they want to run fake plays. They want to run trick plays to work on this Rams defense, which, by the way, the Rams love to run trick plays. They run it the most in the NFL. So we can give them a little bit taste of their own medicine, is what the Vikings should do in this matchup. If they want to win, they're going to have to be the underdog and be making some fake plays like the Lions did against the Rams and really put up a game against the Rams. I believe the Lions were winning in the first half. But you take a look at this for the bold prediction of the week for the Minnesota Vikings, as Adam Thielen will be returning. I believe Adam Thielen in his return will get 2 or more touchdowns in this game against that Rams defense. This is a lock. This is a lock. Adam Thielen's he's the best receiver over the age of 30 and one of the best receivers in the red zone. And for that reason, him going up against that Rams defense, who will be mostly designed to stop Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen's going to come in there and just say, oh yeah, you guys forgot about me. Get 2 or more touchdowns in this game. That is my prediction. For the final prediction in this game, the Minnesota Vikings will lose. I don't want to get my hopes up. Vikings will lose by 1 score once again. Vikings will lose this game 31-38. So very high scoring game. That will likely be the highest scoring game of the week if this does happen. 69 total points in this game. Minnesota Vikings lose 31-38. Let me know what y'all think.